And
Hello,
we're
hello.
live. Thursday night. Feels like I'm still recovering from last week, Paul.
We're not going to talk about that.
It was a long show. If you stuck around for the whole show, good for you.
We may have lost.
Just for the official record, I'm switching to Jocko Go this week instead of last week's beverage of choice. So I think we'll stay on point pretty well.
We lost half of the 10 subscribers we had in that 5-hour marathon.
Really takes people off. It was something special. Hey, it's good to see everybody on the chat tonight. Biggie D, welcome in. Cammy, how you doing? Got one here. This guy, this Josh Dendy fellow, call me out on a little bulkier. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Josh. Like, you saying I need to hit the treadmill more, or are you saying like lay off the protein? You let me know which way you're going with that comment. I'm not sure if I should be offended or not.
Oh, man. Well, we actually have more to cover tonight than I thought we were going to have as of this time last night. It was kind of like, oh, let's see. We'll talk about this and that. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, some stuff's happening, so we better talk about it. And yeah, I mean, do you want to get right into the very
Just
first thing
jump
that happened today?
Just jump into it. All right, so we're just going to do a quick public service announcement for the kids on the internet here. If you ever go to buy an arcade machine, and that arcade machine is normally sold by Spreetail, and all of a sudden you're seeing another retailer that's a bunch of Chinese characters, and their written out name is completely impronounceable, and they're selling it for half the price of what it normally is. Kids, we call that a scam. That's not a real thing. So just in case you saw that and you got real excited and thought, aha, they are coming in hot, for the holidays. No, that's less than that's less than what I pay for them. So I don't think you should ever do that. Don't buy those. Anyway, the good news is between my Amazon team and also working closely with the Basic Fun guys. I know you're listening. You know who you are. He really swooped in and got it resolved on their end pretty quick. You probably saw the listing go down for a bit. That was kind of an intentional judgment call because we're like, man, we don't want anyone scammed, right? Like we don't want anyone to buy this thing and then review bomb me, say that they never got the product, and then people think it was me, and then they're gonna come on the chat and say, that guy, that jerk. How
Well,
dare he?
it's rough too because a few folks tried to order it or and they were like chatting with Amazon reps or whoever, and Amazon doesn't really necessarily know every product or every seller, so they were kind of like, sure, it's fine, they're legitimate, you're covered, whatever, and it's like, well, you're going to end up with, a box of rock salt or something if you order from these guys. Probably not an arcade.
Or peanuts
So,
and warm greetings, I believe the
yeah, it
technical
was
term
something
is.
like that. I did my best version of their
Yeah.
friendly.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, red flags. First off, you can't pronounce the name. That should be a dead giveaway. If something's too good to be true, it is. Always
Yeah.
trust your instincts there. But just also, if you had clicked in, you can see how like the seller's name, the sold by, is a link. If you click into that, it'll be like, hey, they're just created and they have 1,000 completely unrelated products showing up under their store. So kind of a red flag, things to look out for, but hopefully no one here bought it. If you did, I'm sorry. I am kind of curious though, because as part of our investigation process, I actually ordered one because we need to have an order number to put in the claim that there's something wrong. So I'm curious. There's a guy in China right now who has my real address. So hopefully he's not watching the stream. But uh,
So you're going to get the box of peanuts and warm greetings.
I don't know what I'm gonna get. Maybe I'll get like a
Yes.
cool keychain. Maybe I'll get a katana. I have no idea what's coming my way. But very excited to receive my $300 WrestleFest. I will immediately return it and complain that there were characters missing and write a terrible review. I'm just kidding. Too soon. Too soon. But
Well, the thing that threw me about this, when we were texting earlier today, and I'm like, "What are you?" I was so confused because I didn't realize, and I'm glad you clarified for me, so I could clarify for some other people on Facebook and that sort of thing. Was that the listing itself, like the link itself, still takes you to the correct product. It's just that you have to go further to the right where it says other sellers, and you had to click down to to open it and see
Yeah.
the proper Spreetail listing underneath that. So you could still buy it, but the
Yep.
default was not the correct seller, obviously. So that was a little confusing because people were like, "Hey, this is the link I used to buy it before. This is perfectly fine." And
Yeah.
the link is just not the seller, and that was very confusing. So I'm glad it's fixed. One other thing, kind of while we're looking at this, and obviously if you're looking at it on screen, you're seeing the price there, which is not reflective of a coupon that was there before. Is there anything you can share in terms of if people were now suddenly talking about it again, now thinking about it, but they want to get the best price? What's their what are their options at this point?
Yeah, we put the coupon on really initially just as sort of like an indeterminate date, just essentially like launch it. You have to have a back end to it, so we stopped it on today. I have a request to put it back in. So if you were like sitting here tonight and you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy that thing, like wait like 24 hours. Like I'll put the coupon back up. As far as best. I think if you go closer to Black Friday, I might have something lined up where it'll be a little bit less than 500. So, there'll be a little bit of a deal there if you wanna hang out. But it's not there's not the room to do what we've done in the past, unfortunately. But I do have I'll have it. The ultras will be on sale a couple places for like 480. Was kind of the lowest that I could drop down and not destroy everything. So if you're still on the fence, there you go.
Yeah, well, and one of the comments that I saw, and hopefully my reply wasn't too harsh, but I wanted to be direct about it at the same point, and that's kind of people thinking like, oh, look how cheap it is now. It's only going to be a matter of months before we start seeing them at the ollies and the job lots and that sort of thing. And I'm like, nah, it's not how it works now. This is a whole different sort of system that Spreetail has set up. So it's probably better if they hear it from you, because I don't want to
Yeah.
say like, no, it's not happening, and then people are like, yeah, you're just saying that so you can sell more units or whatever. But
Well, it's just a different business model. I don't wanna
yeah,
belabor people too much with it, but kind of the previous business model was focused more on the retail stores, and they'd bring in the maximum number that they thought they could possibly sell, over the holidays. Once you got around to Q1, the stores are sitting there with still way too much inventory, floor spaces at a premium, and they got to get rid of them. And you guys, that's when we would all be sitting there looking on Reddit like, oh my goodness, like
yeah,
golden tea is down to $200, like go get it. So I mean that's what would cause things like that. Whereas now we're more e-commerce focused. And then also like I do distribute to retailers, if there's retailers who are interested in buying the product, but it's more of an e-commerce first. We forecast based off that, and then we'll order as much product as we're selling. But we're not gonna we're not gonna go out and order like 30,000 of a unit and then be like, oh no, everything must
yeah.
go. Like that's just crazy.
Well, and I think that's what people need to keep in mind too. If you're in this hobby for the long haul, you ultimately want these companies to not be in a situation where they've built and ordered so many that they can't possibly sell them, and then situations like what we saw in the past are happening again, because that causes a lot of just a lot of problems, and we don't need to go into all the detail of that, but it's not a sustainable business model to do that.
Well, and
So
there's some cool things that we can do there too. So like there's some titles that they're great to have out there, but we know they're not going to sell 10 or 15,000 a year, right? So like to me, Centipede's kind of in that realm. Like it's a great title, you want it to be available. There's not 10,000 people who today are like, I need to go buy a Centipede, right? So the really exciting thing we can do is start to really grow out the catalog of what titles are available just consistently, and in situations where maybe that's 1,500 units for the United States or something like that, we can work with people in Europe, we can work with people in Canada, and we can basically, between the three buying groups, we can split an MOQ to make sure that each market has exactly what they are comfortable selling through. So it allows the business to be sustainable. And then hopefully over time, what I think you guys are going to see is there's going to be a lot more titles that are just consistently available, and hopefully at least one or two new things coming out every year.
Yeah, that MOQ, that's a minimum order quantity, so that's kind of what you have to put in to get these things made. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, we don't need to belabor the point, but just kind of wanted to let people know what was going on. That's kind of the insider part of this whole thing that you're going to get. So, but we also have some other insider-ish information about Wonderland Amusements. If you're ready to chat about that.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't checked out Wonderland Amusements, this is a brand new company as well. They had a killer Kickstarter campaign. So I'm sure, I think I saw, Kickstarter number 66 is in here somewhere. Yeah, they had a Kickstarter campaign where they hit their goal in like 2 minutes, which was
Yeah,
just
it's nuts.
absolutely ridiculous. But if you're looking for an actual mechanical pinball machine, that's what the product is. It's a 3/4 scale. So someone really bulky like me, Josh Dendy, standing next to it, it still looks like a respectable size machine. I've played it. It feels authentic. But they're actually they've got the productions started. It's been rolling along, and they're expecting that the first orders, which will be the Kickstarters, should be ready to ship from the factory here in mid-November. Obviously, there's shipping that we have to take care of. There's getting it out and getting it to the customers and everything. So you're probably looking at early January, those coming in. But that's something now we're down to the individual PO level, and lining what goes up to which warehouse when, and so that's going to be exciting to see. The other call out, if you ordered it, you might have already gotten an update. It is going to have a day one software patch with Wi-Fi, a mechanical pinball machine with Wi-Fi on it, so that they can do that. So I think they're still doing a little tweaking on the character work in the program. They want to make sure it's as cool as possible when it comes out. So they're going to make sure that doesn't hold up the production. Production's already underway, almost completed on the first round, and that software will be beautiful, and it'll just be ready to download as soon as you turn it on. So that'll be really exciting. Just hook it up to the Wi-Fi first.
Yeah, I was confused by that because sometimes stuff gets lost in regular messages, and you're like, yeah, it's gonna be a day one patch, and I'm like, wait, we're talking about Basic Fun? And you're like, nah, Wonderland. I'm like, the
I think
mechanical table, like,
by the end of
how
that
does that?
conversation, I think you were
I was,
expecting like a Star Wars mechanical pinball machine
I
for Basic Fun with
don't know what I was.
Wi-Fi. You were like, I have no idea what you're talking about at this point.
I was just so confused. I'm like, it's not VPN. But that obviously there's other stuff behind it. But yeah, I was a little confused by that one. So I was glad you clarified that. But then of course, it did make me think about the fact that Basic Fun did not have Wi-Fi in the Arcade Classics line to be able to do those updates, which of course are well documented. But yeah, so I was just all twisted around and as to who we were talking about. But yeah, so day one, that's not atypical, for games and stuff these days. I mean, I can't tell you I've ever bought a PlayStation 5 game that didn't have a download on day one. So
I'm pretty sure every piece of electronic gear that I've bought in the past 5 years, that's the first step, is it downloads an update. So I don't think that's too out of the ordinary. But I'm excited to see it. Like I said, it seemed like it had a good feel to it, and it played well. And that was one of the first demo ones, so I know they've improved it since then. So I'm really excited to see how they do. And I think the long term piece is also going to be I was talking with them about that. Was basically like, how do you support the customer? You know what I mean? Because we've all been to like an arcade, and it's like, oh, my favorite pinball machine has an out of order sign on it. It's like, well, at some point your pinball machine's gonna have it out of order. You know, what do we do? So
It's pinball, yeah.
yeah, it's gonna happen. I think that they've got some good ideas as far as either like doing walkthroughs with people on how they could fix it if they're feeling savvy, or if we absolutely have to do it, keeping spare boards or whatever it needs to be to mail out to customers. So I was just happy to hear that they've got some plans there, and they're taking that seriously, because that's the last thing you want, right? The last thing you want is you fork over $1,000 or more, and then a year or two later it's not working. So sounds like they're going to stand behind it, and we'll do our part, make sure people get what they need. So it should be
It's
good.
good. It's good. Well, I'm happy to hear it. So, well, in other news, so on the iconic front, it's kind of funny because we put out a video, and it was sort of like this rabbit trail. One thing leads to another, right? So we put out the video showing this sort of, signs of life. It was assembling the whole thing. And that led to a discussion about possible monitor light bleed through the
Oh yeah,
bezel.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
we put out some things around that, talk about that. And I think that's kind of a non-issue at this point. But then there was also another discussion that happened around the edge banding. And hey, these units don't have the proper yellow or white color edge banding according to which unit it is. So then, I think it was John that put out directly a picture showing like, no, those were like pre-production units for approval. That was obviously one of the things we flagged. Here's the panels in the fixed state with the proper white and yellow edge banding. So that, which I'll show a picture of here, there you go on your left. That then led to some other conversation about, hey, look at the artwork on the Alpha 2 panel, and what are we seeing? Is there something wrong with the printing? Is there some kind of like, banding or some other, sort of artifacting or low res or whatever it might be that's basically like not really what it should be? Like, is there going to be a problem with the art now? So that that obvious.
From this picture, people thought the artwork was going to be bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so they. I'm gonna see if I can actually. I'm gonna show you here. There's a blown up image that was going around, and I think I still have a picture of it. And by blown up, I kind of mean like. I mean, you're zooming into an image that I think started life at like 180 kilobytes. So it's not exactly the highest quality from
The picture was taken with a Motorola flip phone, guys. Come on. No.
yeah, it was the original Razor, I think. Yeah, it flipped open, it had an antenna that you pull out of the top. So here you go, and I just showed this was a post by James. He wasn't the first one to mention it, but this was a good example of it because he zoomed right in. So that's what people were seeing. Now, even the sort of more vector-based part of the graphic, like where you'd have the logo and the two, you're still seeing, like it's pretty blurry and low res. So obviously, when you're blowing up a tiny file size image, there's going to be low quality to begin with. I mean, just look at the edge banding on that. Obviously, in real life, that's razor sharp, and here it's it's kind of this muddy, grainy mess. So, there's certainly something questionable blowing it up to that size to begin with.
No.
But
No,
take that out of
shocked.
conversation.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Go back to that other.
I
Go back to
know.
that other picture, Paul.
Oh, but we've got
'cause-
more.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, just because going with this general level of intelligence, I have a serious concern.
Yeah, let's get this back in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
right.
I know the artwork's fuzzy, but this is, and I'm a people person. Like I care. I want to know that everyone's well. If I look at that person's hand, I think they're despawning. Because look how pixelated that arm is. Like that guy is actually phasing out of reality right now as he's unwrapping, this product. So I mean, there could be a whole like alternate reality wormhole, theory going on here that as soon as you unwrap your Street Fighter, I mean, you're just gonna despawn, and who knows where you're gonna end up, and that's Paul. That's what terrifies me. That's
Maybe
what
he's.
that's what's gonna keep me up tonight.
I was just assuming he was exceptionally hairy, or her. I don't really know, but
Whoa.
I mean, because I can't really tell. So either way, yeah, that's maybe a questionable source of drawing too many assumptions.
No, no,
Nevertheless,
this is absolutely reasonable logic, Paul. I
it's.
mean,
I
we,
mean,
we
oh,
need we need to answer these hard hitting questions for the people. So
yeah,
I'm
no,
just so thankful that the universe keeps throwing us shit to talk about. Like,
Uh, hey, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to joke about it too much because, in fairness, if we didn't ask the questions, and I've been known to ask a few of my own, and some things that weren't just questions, they were outright accusations. But
of course.
I'm all for the questions. So, but I'm also for having a chance to talk through it and see if there's any truth in the matter. So that's what we're going to do. And one of the things that I did was, well, I did some homework. So first, I talked to the person behind the artwork and actually the overall design of these cabinets, the person who actually prepared the CAD files. His name is Sean. John's mentioned him before as part of the group that sort of, put this effort together. I think sometimes people kind of forget just how sort of like community focused this product actually is. I mean, yes, it's backed by Lenovo, but the actual sort of coming together of minds to get this created, that's a lot of people from the community. And Sean is one of those folks from reproarcade.co.uk. He does a lot of reproduction artwork. He's very good at what he does, and he knows this stuff inside and out. So he and I had a whole discussion about the source material, where it comes from, and really what we're doing is we're looking back at something that was produced. Let's focus on the Alpha 2 cab for a second. We're looking at something that was produced, at a time when people were not just doing everything on the computer. They were doing a lot of stuff by hand. And in the case of the Alpha 2 artwork, it was done on canvas. And it was done by hand. Oftentimes they would do it in acrylic, chalk, mixed media, whatever the case may be. So this is not a digitally produced work to begin with, but let me show you something, and I don't know exactly how well it's going to show on screen, but okay. On the left, you're seeing the official Capcom artwork book, and it has the original, a copy of the original piece of art that the Alpha 2 design is based on. It was by a Japanese artist, Dai-chan is his name. It's actually not his real name, but that's the name he goes by. And he's pretty well known. This is one of his most well-known works that he did for Capcom, although he did several. Now, as you look towards the right of this image, again, I don't know how well you can actually see it here on video, but as we kind of zoom in to Ryu's face, you're going to be able to see there is detail there from the original canvas that, it speaks to the fact that this was not done on a computer. This was done by hand by an artist. And so you're going to see some of those artifacts, but we have more. I don't even want to call it artifacts because that's not artifacts. It's just how it's created. It's just, it's on canvas.
Artifact sounds official. Just roll with it.
Yeah, yeah. So let me show you more though, because this is fascinating to me. In fact, I'm just going to show one little detail here. If I can pull this up, this is going to be just the hand. And kind of zoom it in, got to put it in the right spot. This is just the hand of Ryu. Now, I bring this up specifically because this is the closest that we have to that sample image that we just saw that's being discussed. I'm going to pull that back up so we can look at it side by side, and we can hopefully compare. Okay, so now what you're going to see, there you go. All right, so the left is a new picture of the bottom panel from an actual, Alpha 2 cab, and on the right is a picture from the canvas. So again, that canvas has texture, and you can see a little bit of that, and that's transferred exactly as it is to the actual bottom of the arcade cabinet. And I'm going to show you some more because this is kind of interesting.
Is that a light bleed through the cabinet, Paul? Is that what I'm seeing? It looks like there's light coming straight through the wood.
Oh, man.
That might be a production design. We'll put that as one of the shorts. Is there a light bleed going through the wood?
The wood is too thin. I've heard it's not even MDF. Maybe it is MDF.
It's not. It's clear plexiglass.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. All right.
Those were legitimate concerns.
So I want to show you some other things too. Okay, here's an example of, for those of you who are old enough
to have owned a Sega Saturn, I sure did.
Yeah. Same exact thing. Now this, of course, is for the actual, game holder, which is, I don't know what size they were, but they weren't big. Maybe like whatever 5x8 or 9 or something like that. They weren't huge.
It's DVD size, right? Because
basically,
the Saturn
right.
was a CD. So.
Yeah, it's a physical. Yeah, so whatever that exact size was, I can't remember, but it was not huge. So point being, even at this small scale, you're still seeing some of the detail from the original, canvas texture underneath. So if anything, that just kind of means it's more authentic. And I've got some more cool stuff I want to show you because, one of our good friends, John, spent some time in Japan. No one's surprised by this. And he got to see some of the real things. I'm going to show you some of the pictures he took of the real things, which are pretty cool. Let's get those on screen. Here you go. Okay. So on the left, you might recognize that wrapped, framed illustration of Ryu. That is what was used on the poster art of World Warrior, which is pretty freaking cool. Now, John also happened to take a picture of that character, Ryu, his face, up close. And tell me what you see up close.
I don't know, Paul.
Well, you see texture, right?
Oh, is that what the? Oh, I thought it was a defect that the.
Yes.
From the original artwork. My bad.
Right. Lots of little defects all over the place. That's the canvas texture. And again, unfortunately, because this is video and it's YouTube and whatever else, you're not going to get everything that that I can see from the original pictures. And I might be able to post some of these tomorrow, but there's a lot of texture happening there from the original canvas. So, and that's pretty cool. And on the right there is, one of the caretakers of the museum. He's holding another, obviously, really well-known piece of Street Fighter art there. But these are all taken firsthand by John during his time in Osaka, I believe it was. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this stuff exists. It's real. The process is used to scan these things and transition them to the actual print process is complicated. In my career in marketing, I've spent time on press. I've looked at some of the stuff that happens pre-press, where they're prepping files, they're getting things ready. You're trying to adjust colors. You're generally dealing with a CMYK output. That's cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. You're trying to combine colors in the right way. You're trying to get the registration correct so that the colors are, accurate and crisp and sharp. But there's just a lot that goes into it. So there's going to be some variation just naturally as part of the printing process. It does not mean that detail should be lost. And I don't think that's really even what we're talking about. If anything, in some ways, we're preserving that detail, which is what's pretty cool about all this. So I'm going to show another image or two so we can really kind of hone in on some of that detail. And
man, Kevin always says what I'm thinking, but I don't want to actually say it out loud.
Does he? Does he now?
Appreciate the hell out of that guy.
Okay, well, speaking of printing, okay, this is a good example. That's going to be, I think, worth spending a minute on. Let me get it in the right part of the viewing. It's a little tough to see side by side, but okay, we'll deal with it. All right, so on the left, you're seeing another factory image of obviously the cabinet side, the top and the bottom panel, and then on the right-hand side, you're seeing, some of that original artwork. Now, the original artwork obviously still has all that texture and detail. On the left, you're not losing that. If anything, I'd say the colors are maybe even slightly more vibrant on the left than they are on the right. If you're trying to maintain 100% accuracy, but that could also just be the lighting. I mean, it's a factory photo, and I think the file size on this was like 150 kilobytes, so it's not exactly worthy of too much inspection. But in any event, that's kind of a direct sort of side by side comparison. Now, for folks who want to get really specific, I'm going to show another exclusive here that I think is pretty exciting. So people have been asking about, is there a golden sample? Are these things even, how real are they? Why haven't we seen a golden sample? Well, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I am going to show you a golden sample, at least the relevant part. And let me pull it up here. There we go. This is a golden sample unit. And I know it's a little bit hard to tell, again, because of the size and other limitations of streaming here. But that's the real deal. That's the side of the cabinet with the art. And I looked at the actual photo of this. I blew it up, looked at it in detail. It is sharp. The lettering, the graphics are sharp. The graphics, the original art graphics that sit behind, the lettering and the numbers and that sort of thing, they look like they have real texture. And I'm not just saying that to sell somebody's product. Like if it didn't look good, I'd be the first to criticize because I have money on this. I want it to look good because it's going in my home.
Yep.
This looks good. It really, really does. And I can't wait to share that photo so people can zoom in on it and see for themselves. But it's really nice. This is a good looking piece of art on the side of the cabinet. And again, this is the piece that's being talked about. This is sort of what was shown before, just at a different angle. But yeah, man, up close, it looks good. I'm excited about it. So yeah, there's, I've got probably 40 images sitting here on my desktop that I could, talk about this all day and bore everybody to tears. I should probably stop talking. Kevin, what, as a lay person in all of this, what thoughts or questions do you have? Maybe even following the chat closer than I have, because I've been trying to, get these images pulled up. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts, and obviously, I'm like you said, more of a lay person. I thought that the coloring looked great. I thought it had some really great depth to it, like you'd said. It seemed like the shades were matching appropriately to the original artwork, but at the same time, like they had a little more punch to them. I think it's funny because we're gonna hyper focus on all these details, leading up to it. Because that's what you do. You obsess over all the little things. I'm sure that's literally all John's doing right now, is obsessing over the little things. And then when it comes, it's like sitting on the floor in your basement. You're just gonna look at it. You're like, this thing's dope. It's just I thought that they looked so sharp from day one. I think I know we had our vote on which one was more popular. For me, the Alpha 2 was like one of the. It's been a while since I looked at an arcade out, and it was just sort of like stopped you for a sec, right? You look at it, you're like, that's just gorgeous. That is a beautiful cabinet. So
Yeah.
to have seen them improve so much since that original reveal, I think that's the really exciting piece. But hey, can we see the real things, man? Like, I'm tired of the cell phone images at some point. Like, I want to see what these things are gonna look like, and I have this feeling that they're gonna seem bigger once we get them in person than what we're probably expecting. I think we're all used to like the deluxe size or even the XL size, but even I just have the feeling like from looking at the pictures and some of the video that I feel like we're going to be underestimating how large these things are. It's going to feel like a real cabinet, in my opinion. Obviously, there's going to be tweaks. Modders are going to come in and they're going to swap out their joysticks or their buttons for their preferences, and like that. That's part of the hobby. That's what makes it fun. But for simpletons like myself, I think it looks and it's going to feel great. Man, got a bunch of people. Steps to the house. B. Kirby. What's going on? Josh Dendy, good call. It looks a little, that picture looked lopsided. I thought it was going to be, like a flat front, but it looks like the machine has like, a weird shape to it, that it's.
Oh yeah, because it's,
take it from an angle. So that's definitely, maybe a design feature that we need to talk about next week. What will the buttons be like? They'll be pushy. With a spring behind them.
They'll activate features in the game. It'll be amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, again, a lot of this is limited by being on video here, but you'll be able to kind of see some of these pictures when I post them and really kind of zoom in on some of them. And even these, which are not particularly large file sizes, they still look pretty darn good. All the lettering is really sharp. And, if anybody happened to see, I did a Reddit post, I guess it was late yesterday. It was about some of the stuff that Arcade 1-Up was doing with their art. And that post was largely informed by, Sean at Repro Arcade as well. And he was commenting on how some of the artwork used on the sides of those Arcade 1-Up cabinets was really not great quality. We're talking like tiny file sizes. I think he said the artwork on the Killer Instinct cabinet was 125 kilobytes in size. Now you think about a tiny file like that being blown up to like a 5.5 foot tall cabinet or whatever it is. That is not great. And he went out and actually scanned a Killer Instinct cabinet himself, like a real cabinet for his customers. His file size was close to 10 gigs. So the difference between a 125 kilobyte file and a 9.5 or so gig file, the amount of data and information that you're losing from that image, the detail, that just blows my mind. But this is the person who's working on this artwork. This is someone who's obsessed with those details. And again, if you want to take a look at that post on the Arcade 1-Up subreddit, you can see sort of like a side-by-side with like Mortal Kombat 2, some of the differences. I even posted, hey, the first generation of Mortal Kombat 2 cabinets from Arcade 1-Up, they generally got the art right. And he messaged me back and he's like, "No, man, even with that one, it still wasn't good. Take a look at this." And he sent me another image. It's like, oh yeah, it was missing detail. The colors weren't saturated quite right. So even then, when they got it right, it still wasn't up to Sean's standards. And this is the guy we've got doing the artwork for these cabinets. So here again, we've got the right people from the community who are passionate about this stuff, who are going to do whatever it takes to get this as right as they can. That's who's working on this. So that kind of thing gives me confidence. And, Sean contacted me out of the blue months ago when we were first talking about like the control panel. And I called it, I forget what I called the alpha one. I called it like gravel or granite or something. I didn't quite have the name for it. I wasn't exactly sure what it had been called. And he's like, "No, man, it's actually it's sort of more like an urban camouflage." And he sent me this really high-res scan. And it was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like he knows exactly what it is. And he has it. And I can see every tiny little detail.
And he has the file for
Oh, yeah. It was like instant. Yeah. And it wasn't just like, I need to correct this. It was like, no, actually take a look at this. It's really cool. It was that kind of excitement. Like, and he meant it just for me, but I had to post it then because I knew other people probably didn't, they weren't familiar with it unless they had like an original Darkstalkers cab or something like that. So I was like, this is really cool. But again, this is the person, these are the kind of people that are behind this project. So that's part of what's given me confidence all throughout this process when people are like, "No, John's sitting on an island collecting your money, doing whatever." And I'm like, there's other people behind this who are really putting their hearts into this, and it's gonna be a good product. I don't think it's gonna be flawless. None of them are, but you know what? The originals weren't either. You know?
I don't know, man. I mean, I hate to use the word flawless, but I think the standard of what these are being held to, both by the people working on them and by the community that pre-ordered them and is expecting them. I think especially with how much time has been, let's just gently say, added to the schedule, I think people are really expecting that this is going to be a real evolution in the space, and I'm confident. I'm confident that that's what's going to get delivered, and we're all going to love what we get. But
Yeah.
The standard is just so high.
Yeah, it is. But, if we're going to talk about standards, I can show you a whole different level of standard that you might appreciate. So we can all just be glad that we're not going to get something that looks like that. So there is a company in, I think it's Australia. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's got like 3 letters in the name, probably stands for something. But they did all of these official cabinets, but they were allowed for whatever reason to do their own artwork. And by golly, is it terrible. And I got to show you another one here too. It's just
That's
crazy.
that. If you ordered the $309 WW,
That's the version you get.
WrestleFest cab, it's going to be that
That's
artwork,
the one.
but with Hulk Hogan instead. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
gonna be
one.
terrible.
Yeah. Well, just wait until. Let me see here. Yeah, if I can get this. Come on, it's being difficult. Oh, there it goes. Okay, took it a second. Well, if that blows your mind, wait until next year when you can order turtles from China, and they're your Chinese seller, and that's some glory. But I gotta zoom in on part of this. I haven't figured out quite how to do that, so I'll just show you the actual zoomed in image. You're gonna love this.
Oh my gosh! I hope it's not her face.
I did have one of that, but I'll.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna make you sleep with that in your head, but I will give you this one, which is gonna be even worse. Boom! All the teeth.
All the teeth. Made with 100% authentic crayons, guys. This is.
Oh yeah, you're welcome for that.
I'm not interested in it. If that came across my desk as an order option, I think would be a hard pass there, Paul. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's super authentic, and somebody somewhere would pay $10,000 for it, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
little
goodness.
rough. Yeah. So, anyways, I'll be posting more of this stuff online. People can you can inspect it for yourself. But I think there's real passion behind this. There's talent. There's love for the game. I don't want to oversell it, but I feel like in this space at these price points, I feel like we're doing about as much as can be done on this type of product. And here's another, this is just an image of reused face again, showing some of that original just art detail. It's, to me, seeing those little tiny details, the canvas texture, the brush strokes, which by the way is really what you're seeing, on that zoomed in image more than some kind of printing error or whatever. Seeing those brush strokes printed out and on our products, to me, that's like, that's really cool. Like I obviously I know it's not authentic, but it's as close as I will ever get to feeling like I have an authentic recreation of that for myself to be able to see that kind of detail. So I love it.
It's kind of like if you watch like the old Disney movies, then you watch the new ones that are mostly computer animated. It's like, well, do you want like perfectly smooth texture and like ray tracing, or do you appreciate the old ones where you could tell like, man, I can see the pencil lines in the movie itself. You know what I mean? And there's something I thought it was interesting. I hadn't see the like all the museum shots that you shared.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any of those before, and I mean I just think that's cool to see how something that was a concept or has like some sort of historical value in the space, to see that kind of come to life and also just that validation of like, hey, if we're gonna say that you're making something that is authentic to the original artwork or the original themes and everything else, to be able to just look at them side by side, and be like, wow, that's pretty that's pretty damn close to what the actual artwork was. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. And, I mean, I just love the artwork. Whether it's on the arcade or whether it's on a canvas. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat too thinking about the fact that these were all different sizes. They weren't necessarily like it's sort of like the Mona Lisa or whatever, where it's like in your mind it's like this, oh, it's this great big, and it's not in real life.
It's
It's like
not.
it's really not that big, and this is kind of the same way. Like they didn't necessarily paint or whatever these original works the size of an arcade cabinet. They look at the one on the right here. I mean that's clearly much smaller, but in some cases these needed to be blown up way bigger. In some cases smaller, in which case you lose detail also, just in a different way. But that's what they have to work with. Plus you have to get it. You have to be able to digitize it, and so that can be a totally different process too. You can either photograph it, or in probably the last maybe 30 years or so, you would scan it on an industrial size flatbed scanner. And those scanners, they use really intense light that looks different than if you're seeing something in sort of real life with, all those little details having shadows in different ways. It's basically a direct on spotlight on those scanners. So the detail you're seeing is different. And then you have to kind of, in post-production, figure out, well, what do you do with that file then? Do you take it exactly as the scanner picked it up, or do you try to interpret some of that might have been washed out by the scanner, or that got maybe picked up in a way that doesn't preserve the, sort of artist's intent? There's a lot of those kind of, questions and decisions that have to be made. But, the good thing about having a licensed work like this is the fact that John and the team can go to Capcom and say, "This is what we want to do. Can we get the real stuff?" And then they can get things that are as authentic as you can possibly get, and that's what's cool. So yeah, the bottom line is I don't think any shortcuts were taken in this process. I think the image we saw just didn't do it justice. It was a tiny file taken at an angle, and you saw some of the brushstrokes, but I don't think we accurately saw what we're going to see in in the finished product. And again, I'll post some of those images so people can look at it for themselves of the actual printed panels. But I took some time with it, and they look pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm with Provolone Joe here. I feel like we've been, and I'll be on that. This show was special, Paul, because you brought out all the artwork, and I think that was like a really cool deep dive. That I mean, I learned something new. But man, we need to press the team and get some sort of.
Yes.
Let's see the thing turned on. Let's see a little bit of game. I think we saw a little bit of gameplay from the factory video, but not enough to really wet the palate, I guess. So
Oh yeah, yeah. And this is not.
definitely
This is
got to see a little bit more.
I no, I totally agree. And this is in no way sort of a replacement for any of that. It's really more like, okay, people were talking about it, so we're going to talk about it. But yeah, I'm with the whole community. It's time to see the real thing, see some action on the screen, maybe see UI.
That would be incredible. We'll have to poke John about that. What we got in the chat here?
Okay.
I've just been randomly yelling out. Kev makes a good point. I
Last one here.
Yeah, last one here. Like I I'm looking forward to the point where we're just talking about the cool new features and all the new stuff. Like, I feel like the feeds have gotten a little bit lighter on just ridiculous claims and clickbait. Like, I haven't seen as much of that coming across my news feed, so maybe we're having an impact there, Paul. But yeah, it'd be great to come on and just talk about new news, new products, and not have to
Yeah.
talk about like, hey, the wood's not transparent. That's a fair call out, dude.
Yeah, no, it is. And, part of the reason that, we've talked about this before. Part of the reason that you and I are doing this show is because we'd spend so much of our week sort of debunking things, correcting things, and it that makes it sound like, a lot of it's malicious or whatever. And oftentimes it's not malicious. It's just that, people either don't have the full story or they have part of a story or they see something and it's an interesting observation, but they don't necessarily have any other information about it. So, we would spend time trying to put out information that was, working to provide that additional context or to correct a mistake or whatever. And then the question became like, well, where's this come from and who's saying it and whatever? And is it just me or is it, whoever? So that's part of the reason that we're doing this to begin with, so that we can talk about, is the artwork a problem? Is the bezel light bleed, really an issue? Is this a legitimate seller on Amazon? Is it, these are all things within the last week, and there's probably a couple more that I'm not even thinking of. But that's kind of the point of why we're chatting. So, yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah. What else? Let's see what Mode has to say here. If we can bring this up on screen. To be fair, you can't speak about features if you don't know what they are officially. It's all grasping at straws until something comes out that will silence the noise, I do know.
Amen.
Yep, it's not wrong.
True story. Saw it happen.
Yeah. Mike Hawkhertz asks about online play. It is still happening. Day one, I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
We could probably get an answer to that.
I think we can. I do know it's happening. I do know it's being worked on. I don't know if it's day one. There's a lot to that. I think people will be pleased from what I've heard of how it's being done. I think it's going to be worth it. If it's not day one, I think it'll be worth the wait. But it is still coming either way. Yeah. What else does Provolone Joe have to say here? Did I get this one already? Let's see. I push my cabs together anyway. I want to see stuff that would make me want to buy this. Sure. Yeah. Like gameplay.
You
are. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just kind of going back here, see what I missed as I was blabbing. Josh Dendy said, do you remember Trolls in Time? That artwork was supposedly a product of losing Jim Henson rights. I do know there were some issues there. I don't know if I'd heard about the Jim Henson issue, if there was one. I'm not sure about that. I'm just reading this from Moat. He said, what the heck is that? What'd they do to my boy Ryu? I'm not sure which picture that was. There were several of those, but they were authentic.
Be Kirby with the dichotomy of the community, right? The same people who nitpick these love a big blue or big red, which are two of the ugliest that ever came out. You like what you like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who's to say? It's if you love the cab, maybe you can get over some bad artwork.
Yeah. I never liked Big Blue. I hate saying that right now because I know Mike just picked one up. I know K Fox is a huge fan, and yeah, you like what you like, and that's cool. To each their own. That's quite all right. Let's see. MK2. Okay, this is interesting. Josh said MK2 looks fuzzy. You're probably not wrong about that. They didn't use great artwork for that necessarily. I'm talking about Arcade 1-Up with that. Okay, this one from Steps. Talked to John about the buttons over the phone. He said they are not the same buttons as Arcade 1-Up, and they are upgraded Sanwa clones and much better quality. That's what I've heard as well. Yep. It's not to say people won't still want to upgrade them, but yeah. Moat asks, what is Reddit? What is Reddit indeed?
It's a
place.
terrible parallel universe.
It's a place
where just the darkness comes out.
Funny thing is, as much as I exist there, I don't like Reddit. I really don't, except for one feature, the downvote button. It's the only place you can still downvote crap that you don't like.
The only thing I like about Reddit is when I'm just having a bad day and I just want to troll, just it kills your reputation after a while, and then you can't even like really
No,
post
it
anything
does.
anywhere because people will like just get so aggressive. But there have been nights where I'll just lay in bed, just like how many people can I just get upset? And people on the internet are really happy to get mad about something at the drop of a hat. So Reddit never
Oh,
disappoints.
yeah.
If you want to hear someone screeching, Reddit's the place to make it happen.
I started using Reddit a while back because I do a lot of writing in my professional career, and that was one place that I could post longer form content. But even then, people still don't like to read that much, so it became more like bullet points. And then, then it was sort of like, well, there's no, I'm losing context here. I'm losing some of the story. So that's when I started, wanting to actually talk to people and go on shows and give them the story around what I'd heard or whatever was happening. And so here
Reddit
we are.
the most value I get out of Reddit is when I'm playing like an Assassin's Creed game and I need to figure out like, am I actually able to get this collectible yet? And you're running around for like 6 hours. You're like, why can't I get this thing? You go to Reddit, they're like, oh no, you don't unlock that till the story mode in like hour 120. It's like, oh okay, cool. So I can just stop wasting my day trying to find that one piece of armor that says
Yes.
it's underground. Perfect, thanks.
Well, it's funny to me too when you Google something nowadays. Of course, you get the AI response, but half of the AI response is based on somebody's answer in Reddit. And I'm just like guys at Google, engineers at Google. Have you been on Reddit?
Well, I
It's a
mean,
cesspool of disinformation. Like, why
well,
would you
and
do that?
I think the quickest way to get to like the Terminator AI is to trade AI on Reddit, right? Like this is like the
Probably.
darkest place of the internet is
It's no wonder
Reddit.
it wants to
It's like
terminate humanity. I would too if that's what I read all day.
the AI read all of Reddit. It's like these people do not deserve to be alive anymore.
Yeah, as much as I'm on it, I'm not actually probably on it more than 5 or 10 minutes a day just to kind of, I do my mod duties and stuff like that. But my gosh, yeah. Let's see. I'm still kind of going back in time in the chat because I was talking for so long. Let's see.
Dude, you were like Professor Paul this week. You gave us an art history lesson. We're all much more cultured.
Well, the thing is, there was so much that I was being told by Sean and John told me about his trip and some of that stuff, and that was really cool. But it's like, I don't have the like I wasn't there with him, so I couldn't be like, oh, what's this thing in the corner? Or let's talk to that guy, or that's a really cool story. I want to hear more about that. I just had to. I kind of had to just take in the little bits that he was able to share of his time spent there and what he saw and the people he talked to and stuff like that. And I mean, maybe he's been there a bunch of times. I don't even know, but yeah, it's just really cool. And then hearing, from people that work on the artwork all the time and they're really invested in this stuff and trying to get it right. Like, I love that passion. It's just great. Let me see here. Am I missing anything recent? Oh, I enjoyed the Yoga Flame art. That was kind of neat. Yeah. Do you remember that, Kevin? It was an arcade one up. They did Shinko Hadouken, I think they called it, and then the Yoga Flame one. I think were
Oh,
those the
I
two? They were two
I
different
I
legacy
remember
tabs.
I remember Yoga Flame vividly
Mm.
because Arcade One Up sold me a bunch of the newer Street Fighters
Oh,
without letting me know that there were already like 5,000 Yoga Flames out in the market that needed to get liquidated at the exact same time. So I got to sell a couple thousand Street Fighters at a complete loss because that's what they were selling Yoga Flame at, and I had to match the price or just sit on the inventory. So, yeah, Steps, I don't agree with it's. There's PTSD for me on Yoga. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful cabinet, and I hate it
that's the
just
first.
because it hurt me so deeply.
That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that something at Arcade One Up might have been mismanaged.
It was a rare. It was
Shocking.
it was a unicorn
Shocking.
event. A unicorn
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
The
one.
odd, the odd financial detour that no one saw coming.
There's been some other odd financial detours. I'm not going to get into it, but anybody that wants to see more of that can go on the aforementioned Reddit. And you, yeah, I found some stuff recently that I didn't even put on my own channel because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just going to
What'd you
post it
see?
here. It was like a $20 million write-off from their last distributor. And it's like, wow, okay, I'll just let
So
that
I
sit
mean,
there.
so if you were someone who is interested in how things happen and why things happen, if you did a Google search for the financial disclosure for Alliance, which is the company that bought Kokum,
Mhm.
publicly available information would show that in the 1 year, uh, I thought it was 14 million when I did
Well,
the
that was the
research.
one. It was 14 plus another it was a certain amount then I think for warehousing and shipping, which totaled
Yeah,
about 20. But that is the one. Yeah, it was
but
their SEC. I think it was filings from the SEC, and it was
it was very
hefty.
like there was like a line deduction. I want to. I could be
Mhm.
wrong. So if I'm wrong, it's not intentional. But I believe that the document I read said it was like a $14 million write off for arcade machine promotions. I'm like, well, I wonder who that is. Like that's so oddly specific a line item. But I thought, man,
It was, yeah, it was very specific, and you're right. That's exactly how it was worded. I posted a screenshot and a link to it, so you can look at it for yourself. I didn't try to make too much judgment or interpretation. I'm just kind of like I'm just gonna put this here, and I'll let the internet do with
yeah.
it what the internet does, because that
Well, I
that's
mean, now we're just
wild.
getting into the boring financial stuff, but when I was reading through it, it was interesting because one of the things that like Spreetail we're like pretty sophisticated at is demand planning and like
Right.
doing inventory turn and all those sorts of things. And it was interesting that at that time, after Alliance purchased Kokum, there was a focus on improving inventory turn and not having as much cash on hand of product that you're going to be sitting on for a long time. And then you see a $14 million write off. It's like, "Ew, that's what happens when you order 10 or 15,000 units and don't sell them through in Christmas."
Well, so that was the question I had in my mind was like, was that before or after the write off that they decided to get serious about that stuff?
The write off, the way
Because
I
they
read
didn't
it,
they carry over some
there was
debt?
there was didn't they carry over some debt?
I
I would
mean,
have to see what publicly available documents there are to answer that question, but
yeah.
I think I saw one. There was it James Hates Everything had one on
Oh,
their
he's had a
Atari
couple. Oh,
situation.
yeah, Atari and Think
That was a
Up.
pretty big one.
Yeah, I mean Atari was the
Think Up was a big one.
yeah, that was the
Think Up was a
huge
big
one.
one.
But yeah, I mean, without going too far down the rabbit hole here, just gonna show that's
Provolone's asking if we're gonna do
that's
some
there.
interviews. We're not insider enough. He wants insider insiders, like
Mm.
the elite insiders.
Mm. Well, you do know, Provolone, that the person who places the order for these products is sitting right virtually next to me. So
Yeah, no, I think
it's
yeah, I think I know one or two of them. I'm sure we could get somebody to jump in at some point. I've broached the topic with John about after the Iconics finally ship, and they're out in the universe. I would love to just like have a have a late night virtual beer with the guy and just talk through like, okay, now that the stuff's real, tell us what happened this year. Like let's go behind the scenes and really dissect like every step of the way.
yeah.
And then I think what people would realize is the majority of it is so painfully mundane. I mean, it is. Like people like what's the rumor? Like, oh, John's on an island somewhere. It's like, is he on an island somewhere, or is there like an extended lead time on an HDMI cable? Like, which one is it? Right? It's
Yeah.
like the stories and the myths are always a lot more exciting than the actual piece. Josh Dendy can't wait till the Christmas Arcade Insiders wearing Santa hats and drinking eggnog. Well, if these iconics don't ship, I don't think I'll be allowed to wear Santa. I think I'll have to wear a Grinch and just take the blows at
I
that
mean,
point.
last week's episode was pretty much half of that. I mean, you got the you got
I
the
had the eggnog.
you got the
Dude,
eggnog.
I was red and jolly.
You're-
What more do you want?
Man, anybody that watched that live, they got both more and less than they could have ever bargained for. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was that was something. But
Speaking
yeah,
of which, we've already exceeded our hour.
oh, I think we
I
did.
can't.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be on till midnight
we
tonight this
promised
time.
that we wouldn't just keep it going, but yeah. So anyway, well, I hope we answered some questions this week. I did want to give a quick mention. I'm going to be on Steps Gaming and Zodwriter have a show that going to be on tomorrow. I believe that's 7 o'clock Eastern. So I want to say thank you in advance to them for inviting me to come on. We're just going to chit chat about just sort of, for her viewers, who I am and kind of why I'm doing this and that sort of thing, because not everybody knows my face, but a lot of them have seen my name at least. So kind of a get to know you sort of deal.
Josh Dendy just asked my favorite question. Kevin, what's that guitar beside you? So
Oh boy. Oh
you know
boy.
how like there's like this. I mean, it's basically become a meme. Like, what did you go to school for, and what do you do? So it's like I work in e-commerce, but I actually went to school to build guitars. So like that was my class project guitar. Like I carved the thing out of wood by hand. Let's see where my camera is. Like, thing's beautiful, plays great, but yeah, that's my education. Now I sell arcades online. So
Oh, okay, I've never heard this story. What the heck are you talking about? You went to school to, I mean, tell me more about that. Some kind of art degree? What?
no, it's called a luthier. It's a person who, I mean, you can actually go to school for it and learn how to build guitars. So that's what my actual education is in.
That is wild.
Yeah, out of school I worked at there's an American company, PRS Guitars. That was my first job out of school. So I went over and worked there, worked in the wood shop, and it was pretty cool.
I had no idea.
Got to meet random famous people. I worked on Mark Tremonti was popular back then. Worked on two of his guitars, like
Wow.
some cool stuff. So yeah, I just keep it there and remember I used to have dreams. Just kidding.
Well, we talked about some of your sort of, for lack of a better term, audiophile credentials last week. I mean, that aligns with some of that. We were talking about CDs versus analog, that whole thing.
Did we?
Tube
Oh
amps.
man.
You don't even remember that. You're gone.
No,
You're
I-
about 2.5 hours gone by that point.
Oh, that's a regular conversation that I get into. I didn't realize we were talking for that long. Well, don't get me started on sine waves.
That's exactly what it was. That's how long the show was going.
Oh man, if we got into sine waves, I apologize for anyone who was there.
Let's see.
I owe you guys like a coupon off, off one of the arcades at this point.
Let's see. I miss you not complaining on my streams about XL cabinets, Paul. Ow. Well, I mean I'm not gonna say I won't keep doing that. I just yeah, I guess I haven't done enough of it recently. Yeah. But I think it's because I have hope that there's actually some coming now.
Oh, the like in the Supreme size.
Yeah,
or-
yeah. I don't mean literally XL. I mean, I've given up hope for Arcade 1-Up, let's be honest. But
Oh,
that's
don't do that.
no.
Don't do that. Don't give up hope. They
It's yeah, I mean a good 2.5 years ago. But and we yeah, no, that I was surprised that the Supremes from Basic Fun, Arcade Classics, aren't coming until after the holidays. So that was a shocker.
they're asking me to put together my hit list. If I was allowed to get one or two Supremes a year, they're telling me to put together what my hit list is.
If your answer isn't Mortal Kombat XL,
I don't belong in business.
you don't want to make money. That's the answer.
I'm doing this for fun, guys. I don't want to make a living at it.
I can't think of another, and I know it was sort of a joke about, well, why is Iconic coming out with Street Fighter 2 in that size. Like Street Fighter 2 next to Pac-Man is one that we've seen over and over. And of course everybody said, well, it's because it's John, it's Capcom, it's all that, which is true. But we had not seen a Street Fighter 2 in that larger size. And for some of us, that was still a dream cabinet to have in a near authentic size. So I'm like, why not do that? That's a super popular title we haven't had in a bigger form factor. So to me, the next logical product is Mortal Kombat.
I thought you were going to say Pac-Man.
Shut up.
21 inch. You're just mad at Pac-Man hasn't been big enough.
I need an extra 1.5 inches of Pac-Man in my life, said no one ever.
Always. You can always use another 1.5 inches on your Pac-Man. Absolutely.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, yeah, no, aside from Mortal Kombat, I can't think. I mean, maybe a proper Star Wars XL would do well, but I don't think anything is going to do as well as Mortal Kombat. I really don't.
Well, and I think that's kind of the one I'm trying to push the hardest.
I mean, assuming you had that license, obviously, but if the world's your oyster kind of thing, that's what I'd go for.
When I'm making my list, like I always put that one up towards the top of it, but obviously I don't control who gets what license. So,
sure.
All I can say is like, hey, if you made this, I would buy it, and then it's up to the powers that be on where they invest. But I just feel like my read on it is that would be demanded enough that it would be safe. It would be kind of that mix between widespread sort of appeal, but also the community is like, can we please get one? Like that'd be great.
For
so I
sure.
think it bridges that more so that if I came out with like, all right, the first one's going to be Tron, there's going to be, 1,000 really excited people versus,
right.
trying to do something else. So.
I think the only thing that would be more popular is if it was a totally brand new title that no one had ever seen in any size, but then you run the risk of it being too niche and kind of like, well, are enough people gonna really buy it? Like, of all the titles that have come out to date, to do one over in an XL size, to me, Mortal Kombat makes the most sense. Like Tron, we've already seen in a smaller size, so it's not like, wow, this is brand new, we never saw it before. So let's get excited about it. Like if you're going to do one that's already been out in some form, Mortal Kombat's the one to do next. To me, that's a no-brainer. Then after that, I think the door starts to get a little wider. Like, okay, now there's not a clear, in my mind, 4th or 5th place. There's sort of like, well, you could sell some larger Star Wars, but if anybody somehow busted the gate open and did a Daytona, forget it. Star Wars is done. Yeah, it's Daytona all day.
Daytona.
Or whatever. But my point is something new, or Smash TV or Robotron, whatever. You can start an argument about that. But I love what Mike said here, and I know I'm in the minority on this. Power Stone and Soul Calibur. Holy crap. Power Stone was my favorite game of the entire Dreamcast era, and it's the other game that I boot up frequently on my Soul Calibur behind me. So, yeah, I'd be there all day for that. I just don't know if there's enough, if it was the only new product on the market, I bet you get a lot of people buying it. But if it has to go head to head versus a Mortal Kombat XL, it wouldn't do as well, I bet.
Well, and I'm almost wondering is like, do you do something like would you try to do one that would have a little more mass popularity just to show the brand like, hey, like there's a good market for these types of things, and then like a year or two,
probably
say like do a deep cut, like do Smash TV comes up a lot.
Oh yeah,
that
man, I love that.
Robotron, Smash TV, like those are
and
always,
put Total Carnage in it. Yeah.
Yep, those are always in the conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's such a fun game.
Jim was asking, is there any demand left to have a physical retail presence? It's the next one.
Get that one. Yeah.
A retail presence for any of the arcades besides club stores. I completely think there is. I I wouldn't be distributing to club stores, but I am. I mean, there's already stores that I've reached out to. I love the idea of being available at like regional, like furniture type stores. Like in Nebraska, we've got Nebraska Furniture Mart. So that's one where if Basic Fun would have landed like 2 months earlier, I would have I would have approached Nebraska Furniture Mart in time for the holidays. But I mean, like I would love to find a few guys who just have like their own arcade shop, and maybe they don't want to order 1,000 units, but maybe they want to have 3 or 4 of each one and something like that. And I can do that, right? Like I could send out a few pallets to whoever wants them and do bulk pricing on them. So if there's anyone here who has their own arcade shop that they want to do that, feel free to reach out and I can help you out. But are you guys gonna break last week's record? No, no, we're not gonna do that. No, that was borderline psychotic. Oh,
Yeah, we just need to, issue refunds for that stream. If we made any money, you'd be getting it back.
that's right. We are negative monetization last week.
It's
We had to super chat our fans last week.
you get $15 just for showing up, and yeah,
Real professionals buy bots from India, but we have no idea what we're doing. So we were literally just whoever was on the chat, we were just Venmoing them $5 an hour to just stay there and get us views.
if we were smart, we'd have a good 13, 14, 15,000 people by now. But we're just not. Yeah, we're not good at YouTubing that way. We're just not.
Can't figure it out.
Just
It's
can't.
complicated.
I love this. I love Provolone. Yes, all day long. Crazy Taxi, man. That's a dream. It's just such a
That's
cool looking cab too.
that's on the hit list. So hopefully I can convince somebody someday.
Here's a question. I'll put this to both of you, both Provolone Joe and you, Kevin. If it was an option, and I don't even know if it would be, but if there was an option to do a sit down version of one of these cabinets, let's take a Crazy Taxi because that had a sit down form factor. Is it something that would be wanted, and or is it something that even if it cost a good bit more to do, that anybody would ever consider doing? And that's more for you, Kevin.
I would absolutely be open to it. I think as people are kind of finishing up, maybe not finishing up, but trying to do like the completionist runs on their home arcades.
Yeah,
There's a desire for all the different form factors.
for sure.
So I think that there'd be a good market for like a sit down
I
that I would be
100% do.
interested in. And at Spreetail, we do all oversized things. And I
Yeah.
imagine it would probably just be 2 boxes, but it's not too difficult. I mean, the whole sit down part is essentially just a few pieces of MDF. I mean, you're just building a box. It's not
Yeah.
rocket science.
It'd all be flat packable. I mean, but even, when I was talking to my kids about like, would it be kind of neat if we ever had like like a race car thing that you could sit down and their eyes got big and they were like, yes, that
Yeah.
would be so cool. And I'm already like, well, in the next room over, maybe I could just move the bookshelf out. I'll move the pool table down. I'll start putting them along the wall. Like
Well,
I
then
would
you go.
find room for that,
Well, then think about how many two packs of those I would sell, because if you're going to have a racing game, you need to
Yeah.
have 2 racing games that you can link, right?
Gosh, that'd be just
So I mean,
sick.
to be able to have like 2 kids sit down at one of those and link them together and race head to head, that'd be incredible.
Oh, it'd
To
be amazing.
Provolone's comment there, I don't. I mean, I guess I have the room. I don't know. I don't know if I'd drop 2 sit down racing cabinets in there, but
It'd be tough, but man, I'd probably try to make the room. I think I would just feel like I had to, like I'd find a way. It's just like that'd be so cool.
if someone is looking to come out with a racing cab, a sit down racing cab, and they want to do the head to head on it, I think that would be a really cool thing. Didn't Fast and Furious, like, supposedly you were able to link like
It
six
did.
people or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. The linking functionality was there, and that could be done. I think there were some compromises with that cab. Now, I still think it was the most fun racing cab they came out with despite all the flaws of the 30 frames per second. The fact that they took one game and basically split it into two, and it never really should have been called what it was called. But it's fun. It's still fun. My kids play it. It's easy to just pick up and go. It's not complicated, which is part of the appeal. It's a true arcade game. It's not a simulator, so it's fun. Here's one we talked about last week, but it's worth probably revisiting briefly. Return of the Jedi. Is it coming out this month? So you're looking at the spreadsheets. Yeah.
I'm clicking. When my head goes this way, I'm looking at I'm looking at the sheets. What's my first delivery?
Oh, Provolone Joe, don't get us started on Warhammer, please. No.
That was another one. Yeah, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We're not going to. Let's see. Supposedly I'm receiving them in Las Vegas the 17th. That's next Monday, I think. Not next Monday, the following Monday.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so looks like we've got a delivery appointment out in Vegas for the 17th. So,
and here's
soon.
What amazes me, because in the past it would be like, okay, it's coming, it's arriving at port at whatever X date, and then it would be like weeks after that you'd start to be able to like actually order, get things shipped. Then you gotta wait for shipping. It'd be whatever 3 to 5 days. You guys are lightning fast. It is ridiculous. When WrestleFest came out, and people were like, oh, I could order it. And they were getting it the next freaking day, less than 24 hours. I don't think that got talked about nearly enough. I was blown away. That was wild.
I try not to like simp for my company too hard on here. Like I know most people don't care about it.
I'll do it because that was freaking amazing.
We've got a really crazy distribution network. We've got last I checked, we have like 7 DCs. We've got most of the country covered in
that's a distribution center.
One day shipping or 2 day shipping. So yeah, it's pretty awesome how we're able to do that. And I think it'll be good too when we get in the distribution space for stores to be able to kind of refresh their inventory at that same kind of pace, right? Like that a store could order that many and it's like they have their order in 3 days. Like that would be pretty unheard of.
That's amazing.
I know we went down the Warhammer mini rabbit hole last week, Josh. Don't get me. I'll bust out Gazgul Thraka again right now and make everyone admire my paint job. Like, don't get me started. And to answer Steph's question, you'll see more arcades behind me once Double Dragon lands. So that'll be, instead of having, let's see which direction, instead of having Time Crisis on the side, we'll have Double Dragon, and then I know what the next one is, but I'm not going to tell you what the next one is because you don't know that the next one's coming out yet, so I'm not going to tell you.
But I feel like Double Dragon's we've talked about that enough that's that's not an embargo thing. Yeah,
that's a real thing.
Yeah, and I know we're not talking about. Maybe you could answer this question. If you can't, that I understand. But is that going to be a product, do you think, that will have another pre-order, or will that be a direct, like, now it's available kind of thing?
If we do a pre-order, the way I looked at doing it was like, I would do a pre-order that would start when the product sailed from China, and then it would be at that like slightly like it would be at like that $6.99 or something like that. And if you pre-ordered while it was on the boat, you got it at $6.99 because it basically cuts out a lot of my operations costs, so I can like pass on the savings sort of deal. And then as soon as it hits the FCs, like the pre-orders shut off and it goes to the regular retail. So that's kind of something I'm toting along in my head here. But am I going to do a pre-order and then maintain those email responses for 12 months ever again? No, I'm not going to do that.
That was nuts. Right.
That's been a wild ride. I still get a few every now and then of less than enthused people, but I get it. It's been a long year. It's been a really long year.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, Double Dragon is not, I mean, we've talked about it for a while, but I feel like the wait is not going to be, it's not going to be the same, obviously, but I kind of feel like it's going to be a, much tighter window with that.
Well, so yeah, I was actually just talking about Double Dragon, and the schedule that we want to do is get once Street Fighter gets out and people have we were looking at like maybe like a 2 week window to get some of the feedback, just flush out is there anything majorly wrong from a production standpoint
Yeah.
that we should know before we fire the factories up again. But it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround, I think, from Street Fighter. It's literally going to be like 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully.
Wow.
After Street Fighter's out, then we'll be that's what I'm hoping. Hoping to fire our production and then have it in earlier next year, and there's more titles coming after that. So it'll be a fun year.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun year. I'm excited about it.
Well, we've talked about this before, but it's not going to be like it was with Arcade 1-Up, where everything was condensed into 1 3-month period at the end of the year. Like that, to me, never made a whole lot of sense. Maybe it did for them in terms of how they were produced and warehouse and everything else. But the people want to buy stuff throughout the year. It's not just over the holidays.
Yeah, I think that's really just about understanding the market better. I think that they've been forced into the Q4 just because you have to look at sales data when you're buying the product, and if all the sales data you've ever had is from Q4, then you're going to assume that Q4 is when all the sales are. So I'm actually just really curious to see. I mean, we've got Double Dragon's going to be kind of off season. I know
Right.
there's going to be another one that comes off season that I know about. Maybe 3 that'll be sort of flowing in that time period. So be curious just to see how they're received and do they sell well. And my theory is that when we're talking about especially the XL cabs, yeah, you could be getting them for your kids, but you're probably getting it for you. And they're sort of at that price point where, like, if you're a dude in your 40s, if you see it and you want it, you're probably going to go ahead and buy it. You don't care if it's February or if it's November.
No, you don't.
Like, you're like,
No.
I like that. I already ordered one, so.
Oh yeah, and half of us are selling one thing to make room for another. So you're halfway there. You sell something for whatever, $200, $300, and you put it towards the next one, and there you go.
Exactly.
And these are not, if you're talking about like a claw machine, that's a whole different argument, because then it's like, no, that is for the kids, that's for the family, whatever. You're not buying that for yourself. So whole different story with that. Yeah, put that out around the holidays at Costco. Sure, that makes plenty of sense. But you're not buying a Mortal Kombat for your 8-year-old girl.
No, you're
Probably. I don't. Maybe you are. I don't know. But I wasn't. So.
Oh man, since the stream started, that jerk Chinese sellers back on the the WrestleFest listing. Don't buy
seriously?
it. You can't. It's not
man.
real. It's not real. Don't do
I'm
it.
gonna have another 4 hours of stupid Facebook updates. I shouldn't say stupid. It's stupid that it has to happen. But the fact that it's confusing people is stupid, and I hate that, because it's like people are gonna think or hope that they're getting a great deal and then not, and that sucks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, everyone should go on and say report an issue with this product or seller. My IP
no
address is tied to Spreetail, so I'm not going to click it. But if
Yeah.
everyone who's watching goes on, sees the buy boxes at $309 and clicks report an issue with this seller, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Scam.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, there's and I wanted to address this one from Theme Park 365, because I'm not positive exactly which product we were talking about. When will you be selling them on Amazon? I'll be buying it the first day, and that.
Which one were we talking about then, Theme Park?
Because I couldn't find a comment that related to, so it must have been something we were just talking about.
I think we were talking about Star Wars, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and we talked about driving cabs a little bit before that.
We were talking about Warhammer. Is he asking when he can go buy some Warhammer?
Yeah, no.
No, nobody. It's wrong stream. Sorry. I mean, nothing fills a claw machine bobble up like Warhammer figures. Just saying.
Okay, now here was a follow-up where Theme Park 365 said any new driving cabs coming out or shooting cabs coming out. Oh, okay, and then here
Yeah,
Here they
Return of
said
the
Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi. Okay. Yeah, good question.
So I've got it set to be received in Vegas on the 17th. So assuming that they get it received on the 17th, it'll be live on Amazon the 17th. It's just a matter of how quickly the warehouse is able to get it put away.
So not December Eve.
Not to set. I have appointments that have little green check marks on them, which in the business is about as official as you guys can get. So
I did like this comment also by Theme Park. Any new driving cabs coming out or shooting cabs coming out?
man, that would be a fun reveal. That would
Oh,
be.
wouldn't it? Wouldn't
Oh
it? Oh
man,
man. Yeah.
if you
I'd
got.
be passed out for half of the show though, so you'd have to carry it. Because as soon as you
Oh, dude, you
announce
can
it, I
totally trust me. You can do that and still go for another 4.5 hours. It's totally fine.
I don't mean that kind of passed out. Just yeah, I mean like actually passed out.
I
Yeah.
there's some talk. We're to the point in the year where we're basically getting together and deciding what we want to do next year, and people are kind of figuring out which licenses they want to pursue and everything else like that. And whenever that comes up, I get into the discussion of, well, if we got this license, would you be interested in this kind of game or that kind of game? And I think the push that I'm trying to make is like let's get a variety of form factors. So obviously that would, I'm interested in getting some more driving cabs. I'm interested in getting some more shooters, right? Like there's just, I mean, what for shooters we've got Time Crisis and Big Buck Hunter, right? Like
And
I think
T2,
there's
but yeah.
well, yeah, T2,
So,
I
sort
guess.
of. I mean,
I
technically.
mean, if you're 4'7", I can sell you an awesome T2 cabinet that'll make your dreams come true. But there's other good shooters. I'd love to see like. Well, I'm not gonna say it, but
There's lots. I mean,
there's
there's House of the
Sega's
Dead, there's
Sega's
Resident
got a
Evil,
few that
there's Carnival. You've got I could have stopped at House of the Dead and people would be happy right there, but
House of the Dead too. Yeah, that's.
oh yeah, it's even better. I mean
I mean,
that's been a
yes.
forbidden fruit for forever. There's always been all kinds of rumors and mysteries about the code's lost, you can't do it, or there's licensing thing, whatever. To this day, like when my company has like their end of year holiday get-togethers, and sometimes we go to arcades and stuff. My boss always wants to play House of the Dead 2
Yep.
against me, and we play it every single. It just never gets old. Like the whole animation, don't come, don't come. It's just so funny. It's hilarious. I'd play that all day. Yeah,
Steps wants Daytona. I'll request Daytona USA just for Steps. If that comes to fruition, there you go.
I don't think you would have to request it just for Steps.
Nope.
That one would
I'm
be.
gonna order just one. Just
Yeah.
just one Daytona USA.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd have to make quite a few of those for them not to sell out. That'd be
I think
a winner.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm open to that title. I think that'd be a fun one.
Do you as we've been talking here, in my mind, we're kind of talking about stuff that Iconic would do, but is it fair to say that you think Basic Fun would be open to some of these more aggressive pursuits, or do you feel like they're really going to be more sort of our Arcade 1-Up 2.0?
Oh man, I feel like that was a rabbit hole we went down last week. A
We
little
did a
bit.
little bit, and I'm recapping
You
a
did the
little bit
2.0,
because
and I philosophized on
yeah,
whether
but
or
not
2.0
everybody
is
was
a bad
here
thing.
4.5 hours into it.
I
So
wasn't. But no, I think in a lot of ways, they'll have they'll fill that arcade 1-up niche. But the difference between an arcade 1-up cabinet and some of these more advanced games, I mean it's not a monumental task. I mean you get a bit better of a chip and you can play that game as well, right? So
right.
from a capability standpoint, I don't see any reason why Basic Fun wouldn't be able to do some more advanced cabinets. I think it's just a matter of what's going to be supported in the marketplace, what kind of things are going to do well, and obviously there's the execution piece too, right? Like,
That's
do
a
you get the stuff
big
out on
part of it.
time, and do they make updates that people have wanted made and things like that? But I don't see any reason they couldn't do some of the more advanced ones as well.
How big is the sort of unique control scheme hurdle? Guns and wheels and pedals and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's been done.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see that as being an issue, or kind of like, well, no, been there, done that. That's not going to be a problem.
I don't suspect it would be an issue. I mean, they had to they I mean they redid the yoke for Star Wars. That
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. That's a good
not
point.
that it's not a hurdle. So I mean, I wouldn't expect them to do a driving game, a flying game, and three shooters all in the same year, and like
Right.
manage all those mechanics. But I think that they have the capabilities to do all that kind of stuff. That's not an issue at all.
Do you feel like, and maybe this was going a little bit, I mean, that was actually a good part of my question, but I guess the other half of it was, do you feel like license wise, we can look to Basic Fun as being kind of like the staple products and iconic, going to the more like, where should we kind of focus our, I'll say, fan base enthusiasm toward? Should it be more like, hey, iconic, we'd really love this one, or do you think Basic Fun is like, no, we play outside the box a little bit too, and we could do those more niche titles sometimes, and
That's kind of one that I'm a little bit. I almost wonder if Basic Fun's going to be kind of like the dark horse that we weren't expecting, sort of deal. Because
Mm,
if you look at a lot of their other products, I mean, they have a lot of relationships
they do.
already. So the leap from, hey, I do a couple of your handhelds and I do some plush and I do some like related toys and stuff. So like, hey, what can we make can we do a cab of this game? That's not a huge, to me, that's not a huge leap. And I think because they have so many of those relationships, I would love to see just sort of how they can leverage those, right?
Well, yeah, I mean
Which
that's a big,
is something that Iconic doesn't necessarily have right now. So
yeah.
obviously John has his relationships as Media One Up, and I'm sure he'll be able to bring a lot to the Iconic arcade team. But yeah, I think Basic Fun has the potential to be very surprising, and I'm just curious to see which direction they run with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like, just knowing what you know now and being in the position that you're in, where you can obviously have a significant impact on what actually gets produced, not just what gets proposed, but to be able to say, yeah, here's a purchase order to make this happen. On balance, do you feel like there's going to be the same kind of focus on existing titles and licenses, or do you think it's going to be more opened up to say, yeah, you're going to see some stuff you've never seen before? Like, what do you think that split is going to be? And I ask because I think there's this sort of like this, for lack of a better term, this malaise in the community where it's just like, okay, it's another NBA Jam, it's another Pac-Man, it's another, and not that different sizes and form factors aren't interesting, but for a lot of us, I think it's like we just want a new title. Give us something brand new. WrestleFest was brand new, and yeah, there were some issues, but it was brand new, and that was huge.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like the balance going into 2026 is going to, kind of right itself, or is it still going to be focused mostly, or maybe primarily on things that we're familiar with already?
So obviously the things that you're familiar with will probably, like, someone's gonna make them, right?
Hmm.
Like there's not a world where somebody's not making Pac-Man. There's
Right.
probably not a world where somebody's not making like an NBA Jams or something. Like there's some that are just so good at selling and so popular. Not necessarily in like the hardcore community, but just like if mom sees it at Walmart, what's she comfortable buying? Mom's
Sure.
probably more likely to buy a Pac-Man or an NBA Jam, or grandma's more likely to buy those than she is to buy like Gauntlet Legends, right? Like there's just sort of a different balance there.
Hmm.
But kind of going back to like what I was talking about with the licensing, I Basic Fun, I think that they know enough people and they have enough relationships, that they should be able to come out with. I would think they should be able to come out with a new title, one or two new titles. When I was talking with John, and if I'm quoting him wrong, and I don't know if he's listening, but someone who talks to John is listening. I think like his goal with Iconic was, if we can get up to like 3 to 5, really good titles a year kind of deal, like that would probably be where they get to. So I think it's going to be with the new titles, it's going to come down more to like can we get like really good quality titles? Like I don't think that people want me to come out with like 14 varieties of Atari cabinets.
Right.
Like
No.
you're not going to be like, oh, fabulous! Like you took all 64 games and made a cabinet for each game, and then put all the same games on the cabinet, right? Like it's got to be intentional. It's got to be cool. So there's going to be a mix. I'm seeing some cool stuff in what people are talking about for next year. So I'm excited about that. If if everyone successfully does next year what is kind of in the initial planning, a lot of what people are asking for comes to life.
Wow.
So it's just going to be a matter of, is everyone able to execute? Do people, it's one thing to say like, hey, I want to go get this license. If I want to go get that license, like what kind of orders can I count on you for? You know what I mean? So they can go in and have that conversation. So I think that's where we are on a few things, is just like, hey, Kevin, would you buy this? Would you buy that? Would you buy this? Like, how many would you buy? Like, that's kind of how the conversations start off. And then they go and they'll chase down the licenses and they'll say like, hey, like, yeah, we can do that license. That makes sense. Like we've basically got a ghost order in hand that we can go with, and we'll see. We'll see. I can tell you that, oh, Pac-Man XL. Damn it, that's the one I forgot to ask about. A Pac-Man XL.
Oh, thank God somebody mentioned it.
Oh, much appreciated, Jim. Thank you. That was the one I forgot to put on my list. I'll pull up the spreadsheet right now.
That's a relief. Wow.
I mean, insightful, like a deep track. Really, really going for the elite status there.
I mean, yeah, and I think in the past too, we've always said, what do we have to do to get these titles made? And it was always like, Get Loud, and so we'd kind of Get Loud to Arcade One Up and be like, hey, we really want this title, and then it was crickets, and then it's like, but would you like another Pac-Man? And it was just so demoralizing. It was like, you guys told us to get loud. You told us to make noise, to bring it forward. And I don't know if they were saying like, hey, we'll use some of this to go into a retailer and try to sell it. Maybe they did, and they just couldn't get it done. I don't really know, but I feel like the one of the big differences that we have now, to put it bluntly, is you're in a position to listen and to make things happen. You're a fan, you're hearing fans, and I feel like that's significantly different than anything we've had in the past. So that's a huge part of what makes me excited for what's going to happen, is just knowing that we're talking now directly with someone that, is excited about this stuff like we are, and that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think my concern is, and this is why, like, especially with, if we're able to get, like a fan favorite sort of Supreme model or something like that. I think my concern is, sure, like I said before, picking a title that we're pretty confident is going to do really, really well.
Sure.
I mean, not to throw shade at like a last week conversation, but if I put all my money on Qbert, and I'm like, look, guys, there's going to be a huge market for these like deep cuts, like these. There's some fan favorite niche titles. Like, let's do 5,000 Qbert. That would probably be the end of the conversation for the foreseeable future. So, like, there is a little bit of filtering that has to go on. There's a few that I when I'm talking with my guy Basic Fun, where I'm like, Qbert's like the arcade fan free bird, you know what I mean? Like, if you go on the show long enough, eventually someone in the back row is Qbert, you know what I mean?
Like, I personally guarantee if you did a Qbert, you will find at least 3 buyers.
At least.
I at least, and I can name two of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
but here the other issue is there's just an economics piece of it, right? Where it's like it takes just as much development, planning, management, all the stuff to build 500 units as it does to build 8,000, right?
sure.
So from a business standpoint, like there is the fixed cost piece where it's like, okay, like I could do 500, but are you gonna you're probably not going to want to pay $1,200 for it because that's what you would have to do for a 500 unit run, right?
Unless it's Crazy Taxi, then I'd think
Or
about it.
Cubert, you know,
Well,
if I had a $1,200 Cubert, I would sell all three of them. You said, right?
if you found a way to make a cubert that was worth $1,200, I would be impressed.
It's like, how do you make this a $1,200 game? It's not going to be authentic, guys. It's going to be completely revamped.
I've heard that if you add a stool, a stress mat, and a tin, that increases the value by a good $300 to
I
$400.
think you need like that plaque of authenticity too, don't you?
Yes.
Like
Oh, and
something.
Yamaha speakers.
Oh,
That puts it right over the top for me every time.
all right. I'm writing these down.
Yeah, that's my role in the community is to give you these totally helpful ideas.
This is why the community is suffering, Paul. You've destroyed it.
I have personally sunk in the ship. Oh man, yeah, this
Spy
is
Hunter.
well, okay. So and I don't know if you saw this, you probably did, but Return of the Jedi when the shots first came out of I guess they were maybe some trade show shots or whatever, but it people are like, well, this is kind of a unique shape for this cabinet because it's not really like the original Return of the Jedi, and most people said, well, that's because the original Return of the Jedi had a really weird shape that you just can't make in a home-friendly form. But
Yeah.
then the next comment was, well, but it looks a lot like Spy Hunter. Maybe they're going to make a Spy Hunter next, and they're just using the same cabinet shape. Now, to my mind, the similarities are like 70%. Like it's kind of, but not like if you're trying to do Spy Hunter, you wouldn't necessarily do that shape.
I mean,
To me,
I can see that they'd be like cousins,
yes,
like
yes,
like a similar idea. I don't think that they're close enough to read into it and say like, ah, this is exactly what's going to happen.
no,
I
no.
mean, I think if you wanted to do a Spy Hunter, you would just do
You
a
just do a
Spy
Spy Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're past the point of generic shapes that we try to fit everything into, and to me, that was not close enough to Spy Hunter to say, "Ooh, you're onto something." I, yeah, I didn't quite see that. I think it was an interesting thought, but Spy Hunter is another one of those too, where it's like, okay, so you get that game, and then what else do you put in that cabinet where you need to have it driving? You've got a vertical screen. I'm sure there's other stuff you could do, maybe some other sort of more vintage racing games, but you'd have to find them from the same licensee. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I'd be kind of like,
Well, and
I don't know.
the other part too, and like I like the value. Like if you have a cabinet that you can put 8 to 12 games on, and it makes sense, then I'm kind of all for it. But like I'd rather have like to me the Time Crisis cab is great. It's got 4 games on it. They all work. Like it makes sense. It doesn't. None of them really feel forced on there, and they're
Right.
actually all fun in their own different way, right? So like to me, and it's got 4, and it's one of the most expensive cabs that was ever made. And I'm not like, well, I wish it had 14 games. Like no, it came with 4 games, and the 4 games made sense, and they played well, and it's a good idea. And I think that's sort of like kind of behind the philosophy of like, do you put on like 3 really good games or one real like an actual, if you want to be authentic, an actual arcade had 1 game on it, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, most of them, right.
So it's almost like you go too deep on it. Like some of the reviews on like some of the like the different Atari counter arcades, it's like, oh, or not the counter arcade, but on the Centipede cabinet is like, hey, you've got these controls, but like this game technically would have worked better with this control, and this game would have worked better with this control setup. It's like, okay, so like at what point are you adding value, and at what point is it kind of diminishing? And it looks
That's
cool, but in
exactly right.
practice, it's you know it didn't really make it better kind of deal.
And
So
the worst are the ones where the screen is not oriented in the proper ratio for those games, and they're made to fit. So you either
yeah,
have to crop off or stretch,
yeah.
and you end up with either wasted space or something that's just not in the right proportions, and it doesn't do any good. Like just omit the game at that point. Don't
Right.
force it to fit. And yeah, that to me then starts to become the argument against, or maybe even for in some cases, why you have multicades. The case for is you've got all these games playable in one cabinet, but some of the big reasons against are, yeah, but they're all compromised in some way. They're forced to fit on this screen that's wrong orientation, or you're forced to use these controls, which are maybe either not the right type of controls, or they're in the wrong layout for the game that you're playing. So your muscle memory now for playing Mortal Kombat is screwed up because you're using, whatever, a 6-button Street Fighter layout or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's just within fighting games. That's not even including like any kind of racing or flying or any of those games. So anyway,
Well, and not to be the grumpy old man of the group, but also like licensing is a cost here. So with some of like the different,
oh, that little thing.
multi-cade, well, with the multi-cades and stuff like that, like, hey, I get it. It's a part of the community. Like, you know what? Like, our generation killed CDs because we figured out that you could just download music for free. We killed DVDs because then they had torrent servers, right? Like, I get it. There's ways to do the thing that you want for free, and that's fantastic. But I don't, that's not really part of my business, right? Like
No,
that's,
and I don't even think to me, it's not a good game experience.
yeah,
You don't have the authenticity in the controls. You don't have the authenticity usually in the monitor in some way, like your actual display. You don't have authenticity certainly in terms of artwork or cabinet shape, because you've got a generic thing that has to fit everything. And oftentimes, if you ask anybody that's owned a multicade, they will tell you there are so many games, I only end up playing the same, whatever, 6, 8, 10 games all the time anyway, because I'm overwhelmed by the 20,000 games I have. Like
yeah,
that's common to anyone who's owned a multicade for more than a year. They'll tell you the same exact thing. So yeah, I mean, whatever, I've owned them, I built them. I'm not going to say it's dumb or whatever, but to me, there are so many reasons to have a licensed product that just makes sense that's really all I really want to focus on going forward. Those experiences, that authenticity, that nostalgia, that's what I'm here for.
So you're saying there's a chance for Spy Hunter? Yes, absolutely.
That was the takeaway.
After Qbert, we're actually no. If you know what, how about like no, that would be an arcade one-up thing to do like a Spy Hunter Qbert cabinet, like half of it's Spy Hunter, half of it's Qbert. Like that'd be an arcade.
Oh,
one-up
even in the
design.
artwork. Oh man,
Of
could
course,
you
no, of
imagine?
course.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
no, like, it'll be a Costco Q4 next year.
Because there was a small part of me for a second that was like, well, the screen orientation might work. And then I'm like, no, the artwork. Oh my gosh.
Just saying it out loud is just terrible in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
If I had
And
a
they,
dollar for every time I was playing golf, and then I was like, oh man, but now I want to be fighting, like,
if I could just add a little joust
yeah.
or clacks to this golf.
Why can't I play Mortal Kombat in
But
between
you
holes?
can't even do that. That Mortal Kombat's not even on that Midway mashup cab.
Oh, it wasn't?
It's not. I mean, part of me could have maybe in a small way justified it because I love Mortal Kombat so much. It's not on there. I literally bought that cabinet to fill a hole in the wall of XLs that weren't being built. And the
Yeah.
second the Iconic shows up at my door is the day you'll see me on Facebook Marketplace with that thing. Because,
I mean,
it's
I'm telling you, I saw that, and when I was seeing it for like $200 some places, I was like, how hard would it be to just buy that and then spray paint over all the stickers that got painted on the side of it?
man,
Just
yeah.
pretend Midway wasn't on it. It's just a golden tea cab that I got for $200.
And for that, it would be fine. And you want a
would
golden
be.
tea? Absolutely. My dad enjoyed it. Whatever. That's cool. But the Midway thing. Oh gosh.
Man, well, that's a story in and of itself, right?
Well, and I can't help but wonder too how much of that was, and I don't want to make this sound like it's something that you would ever do because I know you wouldn't. But how much of it was the buyer slash store, whoever made that decision versus someone at Arcade One Up. Now, I'd heard a rumor that was pitched by Arcade One Up that way, but I almost feel like could they really have done something that dumb on their own?
No, it was supposed to be Atari.
It's supposed to be Atari?
It was supposed to be Atari and Golden Tee.
Oh, well, that's kind of weird too.
Yeah, but if you owe Atari money, you can't
Oh
make
gosh,
Atari
yeah,
titles.
right,
So
right.
then after
Oh man.
after Atari Golden Tee was sold, you have to pivot to what can you make, and if all you have left is Midway, you end up with a Golden Tee cabinet with stickers on the side of it. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. Well, why was it a mashup cab at all? Like they just decided, well, Golden Tea's not going to sell well enough, but if you
I mean,
suddenly add whatever
well,
random
well,
Midway
if you
game.
step back and think about it just briefly, Golden Tee, Atari, like that, because I mean, you're talking track. It's a trackball thing,
Okay, so some
so
games, yeah, that could have worked for some games,
I
sure.
mean, Centipede, yeah,
Yeah,
Centipede's a
sure,
trackball
Centipede.
game.
Right.
Like that's the cabinet we've got
Yeah.
this year. So if it
Millipede,
had,
yeah.
yeah, so I mean, that's at least within the realm of possibility.
That would have made a little bit more sense to me.
That would have made
Or
all the more sense, Paul. That's actually the only thing that would have made sense.
well, but to then do it as a Midway and not have your marquee, literally, title of Mortal Kombat. Like you can't even say, well, look at it from this side. It's all Mortal Kombat. You've always wanted that, and you've also wanted Golden Tee. Now you can have them both in the same cabinet. No, it was you've always wanted Golden Tee and Joust, or not even. I can't remember half the games that are on it, but it's nothing good. Basically, it's like Bubbles or something, and Clacks, and I mean, there's just nothing. Rampage. That was probably the best next wellish known title on it, but
Dude,
yeah.
dude, I like Rampage. Like, I think Rampage is fun. Like, I'll mess around with some Rampage. There's a campsite I go to. They've got a Rampage cabinet, and like,
It's a
I'll
dedicated cabinet though. It's
yeah,
cool. It's got the classic art. It's got the weird control scheme with the three play. Yeah, it
you
has its
can,
own thing.
dude, you can punch helicopters. Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, as a dedicated cab.
As a
Yeah,
dedicated,
I
what
get
that
that.
proves is Costco was willing to buy
I
anything.
don't know. I just want to know who their buyer was that thought that. Yeah, that's a
Well,
great idea.
they also had they had the class of '81 table, but they didn't like the Costco buyer allegedly didn't like it being called the class of '81, so that's why it was like a Miss Pac-Man table instead of a
Oh,
class of
really?
yeah, like it was a class of '81 table, but they took out that it was actually class of '81.
Well, I remember that because I tried to categorize all of the Pac-Man variants that Arcade One Up had ever made. I was doing that whole
Yeah,
spreadsheet for Reddit, and I came up with like 50-ish
yeah.
different versions. And I remember looking at that and thinking that's class of '81, but nothing on it said class of
Yeah,
'81, and that can.
they just didn't want to say
Huh.
Costco didn't want to say class of '81. They
All
thought
right.
that it saying Miss Pac-Man was better.
I mean, well, Miss Pac-Man has certainly pulled by itself, I guess. So maybe they weren't
Yeah.
totally wrong, but it's still kind of weird because it
But
was
I mean,
that.
if it's class of '81, you call it class of
It's
'81.
still, yeah, that's what
Like
it was.
that's yeah,
It wasn't Ms. Pac-Man.
no, it was class of '81. It was Atari Gold Tee had a real arcade club. If I got stuck with the Missway GT cab, I would just replace the marquee because I like Lanaho games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could certainly reskin it and go
Well,
crazy with it. I mean,
from a bang for your buck. I mean, once that thing went on like a ridiculous discount,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of hard to justify not. Like, it got to the point where I was watching. I'm like, almost just like, is it wrong not? Like, is it
Yeah.
irresponsible not to buy it?
Well, as
Like
a
when it's down at $200 or whatever. It's
yes,
like why wouldn't you? This is I mean, you're gonna get your value from the game, but yeah, you have to like design a vinyl wrap or something for it. Like, do something
do it
because
as a
it's
proper Golden Tee, and it would have been fine.
yeah, a Golden Tee with other games on it, but
Sure.
make it look like Golden Tee, dude.
Yeah. Yes.
This it was the stickers that did it for me, man. I looked
Yeah.
at it. I'm like, it looks like someone's kid just went up to a Golden Tee cab and stuck a bunch of stickers
Yeah.
on it and then ran away. I'm like, that would drive me nuts.
Well, and it was a ripoff of. It's not going to come to mind to me now, but maybe somebody in the chat will remember. But it was a ripoff of a design that already existed, a mashup type of cab that was sold as a, I'll say like a semi-consumer, but like expensive consumer type, like a $2,500 kind of thing. So not exactly an arcade product in a traditional sense, but it was meant for like home use when companies like this didn't exist.
Okay.
But it was, again, somebody had to help me out, but it was a lot like that. The design is really close, like right down to, the stuff that's on the front panel and everything. It's basically like, oh, yeah, we'll take one of those.
Wow.
Just tweak some stuff here and there.
Ugliest thing I've ever
So
seen.
it's bad. And, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. That's a whole other topic for another day. But
Making moves, making moves.
oh man. Oh, is that GT mashup? Was that it? I gotta Google that now. Is that what
Gotta
it
go
was?
Google.
Gaming GT. It might have been. Let's see. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Well, no, I can't. Oh, well, I don't know if it was that, but I do see an image of what was this? Golden Tee. Oh, Arcade Legends. Let me type that in. Arcade Legends Golden Tee. I think that's probably what it was. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let me see if I can share this beast with the world. If I can get an image of it. Yeah. It's like they didn't even really try. I almost feel bad. I wonder who they were working with too at that point. If they were still working with ThinkUp or if they had already tried to move on.
No, because this was last year.
Was it? Yeah, no, you're right. It was. It
Yeah.
was.
It's just
Yeah.
been a really long year.
Boy, has it ever. Holy cow. Yeah, here we go. All right, let me get this bad boy in here. It's not pretty, but it'll work. So it wasn't, it wasn't one for one, but you can clearly tell there was some inspiration. They got the joysticks on either side of the trackball. They got the thing going across the control panel, the mashup side, the arcade legends instead of arcade classics on the marquee. It's like, move this here, put this there. Same idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Odd.
Arcade Legends 3. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they still sold enough.
They sold 1 million of them.
I mean, the Pac-Man XL supposedly sold somewhere between 13 and 15,000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
You could run a business just on Pac-Man XL.
I think they are. We're close.
Pretty darn close to it.
Yeah, for as long as they can at least.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we beat that horse into the ground.
Yep. Well, and we're at the 1 hour mark again. So.
Again, yeah, we've exceeded our self-imposed limitations. So. All right. Well, I have a feeling we're going to have a fair bit more to talk about over the course of the next week if things keep going the way they are. Do you want to give any advice for people that are looking at the listing online if it's still showing that other odd seller?
Oh yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
So you got. I mean, the other option is you could, if you're worried that you're going to click on the wrong one, you could just buy it anywhere else. So you could buy it at Target or Walmart online, and those are all coming from us. So that's one option. But yeah, it's over there again. So if you are thinking about buying it, On the right-hand side where you can add it to your cart, buy now, add the protection plan. If you scroll down, it says other sellers on Amazon. Click in there. You'll see Spreetail. We're still there, so don't do it tonight. Wait, let me put the coupon back up so you're not
There you go.
emailing me saying you missed the coupon. But we'll get that slapped back on here in the next 24 hours or so, and
Cool.
I'll be back live. But yeah, we'll get it taken down again. They're apparently pretty persistent.
Man,
What's their actual seller name? If you click on it,
it's not even in English, is it? I mean, can you?
the business name is spelled YIWUSHIJUNSIDIANZIN. Like,
Wow.
so yeah, just launched. No feedback. You can visit their storefront and genuine product only.
Yeah. Well,
Items they have.
don't know what the actual product is, but it's genuine, whatever it is.
They've got pages of stuff that they're
Oh man.
gosh, slap a tariff on them. Let's go.
I guarantee you're gonna end up with a box of kitty litter on your doorstep instead of an arcade cabinet.
I'll be curious to see. I'll be curious to see if anything ships out. To be honest, I probably just got enrolled for like. You'll see me on the news, one of those people who's like receives like 80 boxes a day of just random miscellaneous equipment. I'll sell it.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe John's on there trolling us.
Yeah, it's John. He figured out how to do it for $300.
I shouldn't say that.
Genius.
Somebody will take that seriously and give him flack for the next 3 days and make a video out of it.
Oh, just make a short out of it just to troll. People. John has a scam account. Not true. We're making jokes here. All right.
I mean, not true as a seller. He definitely has scam accounts, just not as a seller.
They're not scam accounts. Come on. Troll accounts. There's a difference.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's not actually scamming anyone. He's just trolling.
No,
Yeah,
of course not.
That's true.
Of course
Yeah,
not. I know you're on here somewhere. We love you, John.
we do. Yes.
But,
Oh man.
anyway. All right. Well, I think we talked to the people.
I think we have. Just a reminder, I will be on with Steps and Zod tomorrow night. Retro Spitball, I believe, is the name of the show, 7:00 Eastern. So
Nice.
thank you to them for inviting me on just to chat and get to know folks. This is
Go
not
for
a-
6 hours, Steps. You won't.
Yeah. Hey, I forgot to tell people this is a paid promotion for everything that we've ever talked about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
We forgot our disclosures.
it's also a paid promotion for every other YouTube channel we've mentioned in the last 2 hours.
That's right. That's right.
Quite a few. So
we're affiliated with everybody, everywhere, all the time.
that's right. We make no money, but we are affiliated.
We are terrible at what we do, Paul.
Yeah, we've not learned a damn thing. All right.
Well, hey, we stuck to 1 hour this time, Paul. That was literally the only thing we wanted to do.
We did 1 hour twice. We're so good at it.
Perfect. All right, cut the show in half. We did two live broadcasts this week.
Just so we can have people wonder what the second half was all about and why we got cut.
The mystery.
That's
What
the
did
best
you
part.
miss? What
Except-
did you miss?
Except for the people that actually tuned in and they could tell you the last 4 hours was complete and utter nonsense.
It was literally. I think there were like 10 of us left. We were just talking about whatever we felt like talking about, and Paul was absolutely asleep at the wheel, not making any cogent sense whatsoever.
Nope. Yeah. I was getting accused to cut it off at any time, and I ignored all of them. Every single one.
All of them. Yep.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll start preparing for the next show.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks everyone for jumping in with us, and hopefully we see you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.